A snowstorm should have saved the convoy. It made them blind instead. You're about to see how a web of cheap FPV drones, 3D printed mines, and one Leopard 2 on Overwatch turn millions in armor into a trapped steel column. We'll break down the exact sequence. Drones map choke points, mines seal lanes, comms harden under jamming, and inertial timing cues the kill. If you think heavy armor wins by default, stay. The first 30 seconds will change how you read every battle map. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. Costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now back to the video. They thought the snow blinded the drones. It blinded the convoy instead. Here's why low-cost FPVs saw what thermals and big gun optics missed. The fight unfolds along gray belts of industry, yards, stacks, and rail cuts on the north side of the line. Snow drives sideways.
Ukrainian Defense Forces is the surprisingly lethal impact its use of relatively cheap drones has had on Russian forces.
Unlike the javelins, which you have to get pretty close to a tank with a javelin, you can launch these kamikaze drones from up to 8 miles away.
Shows a Russian missile launcher sitting in the open. Suddenly, it's consumed by a huge fireball,
turning the long approaches into white tunnels. The convoy moves in, lights dimmed, turrets hunting. They follow pre-selected lanes because the map says these are the only roads that will hold weight. Those lanes are known. Electronic haze hangs over the approach. Emitters buzz, antennas hunt, and every radio call sounds a little dull. But then the spectrum spikes. Russian jammers throw foam into the air. Chaff canisters spit glitter that clogs radar and confuses seekers. GPS turns coarse, then dirty. You've seen this play before. Most people think drones die here. They don't.
That was a work of a Turkish-made TB2 drone. The unmanned drone can hover over tanks and destroy them.
Why aren't we rushing more of these kinds of weapons? There's another type of drone called the kamikaze drone, Mika, which is actually like a flying bomb. It's a guided missile.
Seemingly with devastatingly accurate missile fire. So why are Ukraine's cheap, slow drones so successful against Russian targets?
They switch tactics. Small quads carry light frames and big props for cold air. They come in low along roof lines where the wind breaks. Operators run line of sight when they can, then flip to dead reckon bursts when the link fades using inertial cues and simple timing. Count the seconds, hold the angle, push through. The trick is short hops with hard resets. A quad slips past a brick stack, catches a faint return from a relay, and updates. Then it's blind again for a beat. It doesn't panic. Trusts the plan. Meanwhile, analysts push a sensor net that doesn't care about one pair of eyes. OSINT pulls in posts about blocked roads, engine noise at odd hours, and convoy direction.
We don't know the answer to that for sure, but a U.S. defense official briefed reporters yesterday and said they had used these weapons the Ukrainians had to great effect against the Russians. Appears to have sold them some more systems at the beginning, according to the Ukrainian defense minister. But some people are wondering, one expert has tracked as many as 30 individual strikes against Russian vehicles. And the reason this is so confounding to experts:
RF sweeps mark where jammers sit and how they shift. Commercial satellites, even through gaps in cloud, confirm the skeleton of the field. The underpass with the rebar scrape, the narrow gate at the plant, the rail cut that forces every vehicle to tuck in. Fused together, that becomes a heat map of intent. Not gossip, a guide. Choke points pop. One underpass creates a single file. One rail line forces a jog to the left. A factory gate narrows the lane to a width that turns fast armor into a slow train. This is where you shape the route not with signals but with steel. 3D printed anti-tank mines go down in patterns, not randomly. 2 angles cover the lead track. 2 more stagger for the trail. The goal is not big blasts. It's control.
We knew the Ukrainians had about 20 of these small drones before this conflict, and when I would ask military experts about their impact, a defense official said yesterday they're working to do that, didn't offer any specifics. Turkey, which is trying to remain neutral in this conflict, they fire Hellfire missiles. Those are $30 million apiece. These drones cost about $1 to $2 million. They fire small missiles.
When the front vehicle loses a wheel hub and slews, it doesn't explode into air, it stops and blocks. When the tail hits pressure at the lane exit, it locks the door. Think of a zipper tugged shut from both ends. Metal teeth meet. Nothing moves. A Leopard 2 waits off-axis in cold Overwatch. No charge. No hero rush. It's denial. The gun stays quiet while the column creeps. The moment the rear swings to reverse, that's the cue. One round into the last mover, then a second to break the escort element. The bottle seals. Noise grows, but options shrink. Up front, FPVs peck at eyes. Not armor. Optics.
Like 110 miles an hour. Once again, the experts overestimated the competence of the Russian military because this system is flying. And one big question is, what is the U.S. doing to make sure that the Ukrainians are resupplied with this weapon system? Because the Russians will make quick work of that weapon system. They can jam them with electronics, and if they can't do that, they can shoot them down because they fly so slowly.
A cheap drone with a small charge slaps a sight head and cracks glass. Another clips an external sensor pack and leaves wires hanging. The lead tank can still drive, but it can't see well. Blind, it rolls forward not from courage, but from pressure. The formation compresses. Crews feel alone in the white, so they bunch up to share arcs. That is exactly what the geometry wanted. Jammers keep roaring. GPS is still dirty. It doesn't matter. The network uses line-of-sight bursts, short relays, and pre-agreed timing to act like one system. Artillery checks in through a clean channel, then cuts out. FPVs mark and strike on rhythm. The tank in Overwatch takes the one shot that matters, then holds. No chatter, just tempo. Here's the turn. The Storm doesn't cloak armor. It hides patterns until someone with data and timing pulls them out. The kill zone forms before a single anti-tank missile leaves the tube. Mines force the halt. Drones take the eyes. Overwatch locks the exit. In that order. Now watch how the next hour compresses. Once the rear door slams, the sequence accelerates. EW hammers, artillery drops in short, and drones finish cripples in minutes while crews try and fail to unjam the zipper. Control didn't come from price tags. It came from tempo, timing, and a networked kill box that turned armor into obstacles. You saw how speed of decisions, not cost of machines, set the terms. If you want the tactical breakdowns that change how you read a battle map, subscribe. Comment your choice below. Would you invest first in drones, EW, or mines? Your answer tells me how you think about shaping fights. Next, we'll test this doctrine when the sky clears and the jammers get smarter. Sensors shift. Links stretch. The question is simple. Who keeps tempo when the weather stops helping?